watch these earnings reports.
Good afternoon.
With
My
Meta.
name is Krista, and I will be your conference operator today. At this time, I would like to welcome everyone to the Meta fourth quarter and full year 2024 earnings conference call. All lines have been placed on mute to prevent any background noise. After the speaker's remarks, there will be a question and answer session. If you would like to ask a question, please press star 1 on your telephone keypad. To withdraw your question, again, press star 1. And we ask that you limit yourself to one question. And this call will be recorded. Thank you very much. Kenneth Dorell, Meta's Director of Investor Relations, you may begin.
Thank you. Good afternoon and welcome to Meta Platforms' fourth quarter and full year 2024 earnings conference call. Joining me today results are Mark Zuckerberg, CEO, and Susan Li, CFO. Before we get started, I would like to take this opportunity to remind you that our remarks today will include forward-looking statements. Actual results may differ materially from those contemplated by these forward-looking statements. Factors that could cause these results to differ materially are set forth in today's earnings press release and in our quarterly report on Form 10-Q filed with the SEC. Any forward-looking statements that we make on this call are based on assumptions as of today, and we undertake no obligation to update these statements as a result of new information or future events. During this call, we will present both GAAP and certain non-GAAP financial measures. A reconciliation of GAAP to non-GAAP measures is included in today's earnings press release. The earnings press release and an accompanying investor presentation are available on our website at investor.atmeta.com. And now I'd like to turn the call over to Mark.
All right, thanks, Ken. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. We ended 2024 on a strong note with now more than 3.3 billion people using at least one of our apps each day. This is going to be a really big year.
Okay,
I know it always feels like every year is a big year, but more than usual, it feels like the trajectory for most of our long-term initiatives is going to be a lot clearer by the end of this year. So I keep telling our teams that this is going to be intense. Because we have about 48 weeks to get on the trajectory that we want to be on. In AI,
it's be wild.
I expect that this is going to be the year when a highly intelligent and personalized AI assistant reaches more than 1 billion people, and I expect Meta AI to be that leading AI assistant. Meta AI is already used by more people than any other assistant, and once a service reaches that kind of scale, it usually develops a durable long-term advantage. We have a really exciting roadmap for this year with a unique vision focused on personalization. We believe that people don't all want to use the same AI. People want their AI to be personalized to their context, their interests, their personality, their culture, and how they think about the world.
Yeah, sure. Post a
I don't think that there's just going to be one big AI that everyone uses that does the same thing. People are going to get to choose how their AI works and what it looks like for them. I continue to think that this is going to be one of the most transformative products that we've made, and we have some fun surprises that I think people are going to like this year. I think this will very well be the year when Llama and open source become the most advanced and widely used AI models as well. Llama 4 is making great progress in training. Llama 4 Mini is done with pre-training, and our reasoning models and larger model are looking good too. Our goal with Llama 3 was to make open source competitive with closed models.
What's good? What's good?
And our goal for Llama 4 is to lead. Llama 4 will be natively multimodal. It's an omni model, and it will have agentic capabilities. So it's going to be novel, and it's going to unlock a lot of new use cases. And I'm looking forward to sharing more of our plan for the year on that over the next couple of months. I also expect that 2025 will be the year when it becomes possible to build an AI engineering agent that has coding and problem-solving abilities of around a good mid-level engineer. And this is going to be a profound milestone and potentially one of the most important innovations in history, as well as over time, potentially a very large market. Whichever company builds this first, I think is going to have a meaningful advantage in deploying it to advance their AI research and shape the field. So that's another reason why I think that this year is going to set the course for the future. Our Ray-Ban Meta AI glasses are a real hit, and this will be the year when we understand the trajectory for AI glasses as a category. Many breakout
Not really.
products
I haven't really worked on that.
in the history of consumer electronics have sold 5 to 10 million units in their third generation.
I've done
This will
side
be a
projects with
defining year
agentic
that
AI
determines if we're on a path towards many hundreds of millions and eventually billions of AI glasses, and glasses being the next computing platform like we've been talking about for some time, or if this is just going to be a longer grind. But it's great overall to see people
Wait, can
recognizing
y'all hear me good
that these
talking over
glasses
this guy
are the
or
perfect
what?
form factor for AI, as well as just great
Yo,
stylish
Daniel, what's
glasses.
good?
These are all big investments.
No, this will happen like
Especially
a
the
couple weeks
hundreds
ago.
of billions of dollars that we will
I want to listen.
invest in AI infrastructure over the long term. I announced last week that we expect to bring online almost a gigawatt of capacity this year.
I want
and
to.
we're building a
What's the video about?
2 gigawatt and potentially
Pretty much the
bigger
video is
AI
going to
data
be.
center
We're just
that
going to
is,
listen to earnings reports and then
so big
see
that
what
it'll cover
everyone
a
thinks about them.
significant
I want to listen to
Manhattan
Microsoft
place
after
there.
because they're a big AI player.
We're
And
planning
Meta's
to
doing a
fund
lot of
all
AI
this
stuff, so I want to
by,
see how
at
they're
the
going to
same
compete
time,
this year.
investing aggressively in initiatives
But Daniel,
that
what's
use
good?
these AI advances to increase revenue growth. And we've put together a plan that will hopefully accelerate the pace of these initiatives over the next few years. That's what a lot of our new headcount growth is going towards. And how well we execute on this will also determine our financial trajectory over the next few years. There are a number of other important product trends related to our family of apps that I think we're going to know more about this year as well. We're going to learn what's going to happen with TikTok. And regardless of that, I expect Reels on Instagram and Facebook to continue growing. I expect Threads to continue on its trajectory to become the leading discussion platform and eventually reach a billion people over the next several years. Threads now has more than 320 million monthly actives and has been adding more than 1 million signups per day. I expect WhatsApp to continue gaining share and making progress towards becoming the leading messaging platform in the US, like it is in a lot of the rest of the world. WhatsApp now has more than 100 million monthly actives in the US. Facebook is used by more than 3 billion monthly actives, and we're focused on growing its cultural influence. And I'm excited this year to get back to some OG Facebook. All right, so this is also going to be a pivotal year for the metaverse. The number of people using Quest and Horizon has been steadily growing. And this is a year when a number of the long-term investments that we've been working on that will make the metaverse more visually stunning and inspiring will really start to land. So I think we're going to know a lot more about Horizon's trajectory by the end of this year. This is also going to be a big year for redefining our relationship with governments. We now have a U.S. administration that is proud of our leading companies, prioritizes American technology winning, and that will defend our values and interests abroad. And I am optimistic about the progress and innovation that this can unlock. So this is going to be a big year. I think that this is the most exciting and dynamic that I have ever seen our industry. Between AI, glasses, massive infrastructure projects, doing a bunch of work to try to accelerate our business and building the future of social media, we have a lot to do. And I think we're going to build some awesome things that shape the future of human connection. As always, I am grateful for everyone who's on this journey with us. Thank you. And here's Susan.
Thanks, Mark, and good afternoon, everyone. Let's begin with our consolidated results. All comparisons are on a year-over-year basis, unless otherwise noted. Q4 revenue was $48.4 billion, up 21% on both a reported and constant currency basis. Q4 total expenses were $25 billion, up 5% compared to last year. Before I cover the specific cost lines, I would note that our fourth quarter expense growth rate reflects a 13 percentage point favorable impact from legal accrual reductions in Q4 and lower year-over-year restructuring costs. In terms of the specific line items, cost of revenue increased 15%, driven mostly by higher infrastructure costs. R&D increased 16%, primarily driven by higher employee compensation and infrastructure costs, which were partially offset by lower restructuring costs. Marketing and sales were approximately flat year-over-year. G&A decreased 67%.
Yo, Paul in the building. Yo, Paul's in the building. I had to pause. Yo, Harold. Harold was looking for you. Paul's in the building. Yo, Paul's a legend.
Driven mostly by lower legal-related expenses due to a $1.55 billion reduction in legal accruals related to certain legal proceedings. We ended the year with over 74,000 employees, up 10% year-over-year, with growth primarily driven by hiring in priority areas of monetization, infrastructure, generative AI, Reality Labs, as well as regulation and compliance. Fourth quarter operating income was $23.4 billion, representing a 48% operating margin. Our tax rate for the quarter was 12%. Net income was $20.8 billion, or $8 and
Mark, sound
areas delivering strong growth in 2025 will be driven by increased investment to support both our generative AI efforts and our core business. The majority of our CapEx in 2025 will continue to be directed towards our core business. On to tax. Absent any changes to our tax landscape, we expect our full year 2025 tax rate to be in the range of 12 to 15%. In addition, we continue to monitor an active regulatory landscape, including legal and regulatory headwinds in the EU and the US that could significantly impact our business and our financial results. In closing, this was a good year for our company, with investments across our priority areas delivering strong business performance and innovative new products for our community. We have a compelling set of opportunities to invest in this year, which we expect will help us drive continued strong growth and develop transformative technologies that shape the future of our company and of the industry. With that, Krista, let's open up the call for questions.
Thank you. We will now open the lines for a question and answer session. To ask a question, please press star one on your touchtone phone. To withdraw your question, again, press star one. Please limit yourself to one question. Please pick up your handset before asking your question to ensure clarity. If you are streaming today's call, please mute your computer speakers. And our first question comes from the line of Brian Nowak with Morgan Stanley. Please go ahead.
Thanks for taking my questions. Mark, you sound we appreciate all the excitement about this year and all the innovation to come. I know there's a lot of announcements throughout the course of the year, but wonder if you could just share a few
So basically what they do is they do opening remarks and talk about the stock price and shit. Right? They talk about what's growing. I don't know. It's all about this is for investors. But essentially after they do Q&A, and Q&A might be interesting.
Sort of high-level examples of your vision on new potential use cases and offerings that could drive utility for your users and value for your advertisers as you sort of think about Llama 4 and Meta AI changing throughout 2025. And then the second one on custom silicon, maybe a question for either of you, just any learnings on the difference between your custom silicon and third-party chips in your ranking models and results, and how should we think about the main gating factors as to how quickly you'll be able to move a higher percentage of your engagement to your custom silicon? Thanks.
On the first one, I tried to lay this out in my opening comments a bit. I mean, we're very focused on Meta AI as a highly intelligent and personalized assistant that you can access across our apps. There's a website, you can access it outside of our apps too. I think that the quality of this is just it's going to keep on improving and improved a lot over the last year. We're also finding more ways that it's useful to integrate it into our services to help more people discover it. I think that that's undoubtedly why so many hundreds of millions of people are using it today, is because it's kind of easy to to discover what we're doing and then keep using it. Um, I don't know. I want to keep some surprises and fun for the stuff that we're going to release this year. I gave a bit of detail on what we're planning to do with Llama 4, that I'm sure technical people will enjoy because we hadn't talked about that before. But I'm going to refrain from adding a whole lot more on what we're launching this year. But it's the different things that I talked about. It's Meta AI. I do expect Llama 4 to be a very exciting set of releases. It's not just one thing. Just like with Llama 3.
Oh shit, they're dropping Llama 4. Hopefully that helps the stock price go up.
There were kind of a few different models at different dates. I think we'll see that with Llama 4 too. And then the AI engineer piece, I'm really excited about. I mean, I don't know that that's going to be an external product anytime soon, but I think for what we're working on, our goal is to advance AI research and advance our own development internally. And I think it's just going to be a very profound thing. So, I mean, that's something that I think will show up through making our products better over time. But yeah, and then as that works, there will potentially be a market opportunity down the road. But I mean, for now, in this year, we're really, I think this is, I don't think you're going to see this year like an AI engineer that is extremely widely deployed, changing all of development. I think this is going to be the year where that really starts to become possible and lays the groundwork for a much more dramatic change in 26 and beyond. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of it.
Brian, I'm happy to take your second question about custom silicon. So first of all, we expect that we are continuing to purchase third-party silicon from leading providers in the industry. And we are certainly committed to those longstanding partnerships, but we're also very invested in developing our own custom silicon for unique workloads where off-the-shelf silicon isn't necessarily optimal. And specifically because we're able to optimize the full stack to achieve greater compute efficiency and performance per cost and power, because our workloads might require a different mix of memory versus network, bandwidth versus compute, and so we can optimize that really to the specific needs of our different types of workloads. Right now, the in-house MTIA program is focused on supporting our core ranking and recommendation inference workloads. We started adopting MTIA in the first half of 2024 for core ranking and recommendations inference. We'll continue ramping adoption for those workloads over the course of 2025 as we use it for both incremental capacity and to replace some GPU-based servers when they reach the end of their useful lives. Next year, we're hoping to expand MTIA to support some of our core AI training workloads and over time, some of our Gen AI use cases.
Your next question comes from the line of Eric Sheridan with Goldman Sachs. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much for taking the question. Maybe I can go back to your comments on open source. Can you help us understand how your views continue to evolve with respect to the competitive dynamic around your approach with open source versus others in the industry, and how your approach to open source could possibly bend the cost curve and improve return on capital for AI over the medium to long term? Thanks so much.
Bruh, Goldman Sachs guy got the real.
Yeah, I mean, on open source, I think the best analogy for us is what we did with Open Compute, where we weren't first to building the system. So then by the time that we got around to building it, it wasn't really a big advantage to have it be proprietary. So we shared it. And then a lot of the industry adopted what we were doing, contributed innovations back to it. By standardizing it on it, that meant that a bunch of supply chains standardized on building it, which made prices, more efficient for everyone. I think what we see here is, as Llama becomes 32%. More used, it's more likely, for example, that silicon providers and others, other APIs and developer platforms will optimize their work more for that, and basically drive down the costs of using it and drive improvements that we can, in some cases, use too. So I think that the strategy will continue to be effective, and Yeah, I mean, I continue to be optimistic about this. I think it's I think it's working. I also just think, in light of some of the recent news, the new competitor, DeepSeek from China. I think it also just puts, it's one of the things that we're talking about is there's going to be an open source standard globally, and I think for our kind of own national advantage, it's important that it's an American standard. So we take that seriously, and we want to build the AI system that people around the world are using. And
Yo,
I think that if anything, some of the recent news has only strengthened our conviction that this is the right thing for us to be focused on.
Your next question comes from the line of Mark Shmulik with Bernstein. Please go ahead.
Yes, thank you for taking my questions. Mark, appreciate we may get an answer this year, but looking out, as you've kind of tracked the progress of smart glasses, Orion and so forth, do you view that as a better form factor to get the most out of the Meta AI assistance you highlighted in your opening remarks? Or is it more complementary to kind of the in-app experience and the way you've seen people use it today? And then, Susan, the last few quarters, we've kind of seen pricing growth as the dominant driver of ad revenue growth. Given the efforts you've highlighted around driving deeper, more commercial engagement and better advertiser ROI, how do we just think about the contribution or the formula for ad revenue growth going forward? Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I can talk about glasses. I mean, I've said for a while that I think that glasses are the ideal form factor for an AI device.
What?
Because
why?
You can let an AI assistant on your glasses see what you see and hear what you hear, which gives it the context to be able to understand, everything that's going on in your life that you would want to talk to it about and get context on. So, but look, I mean, I think that glasses are going to be a very important computing platform in the future. When phones became the primary computing platform, it's not like computers went away. I think we'll have phones for some time, but there are a lot of people in the world who have glasses. It's kind of hard for me to imagine that a decade or more from now, all the glasses aren't going to basically be AI glasses, as well as a lot of people who don't wear glasses today finding that to be a useful thing. So I'm incredibly optimistic about this. And like I shared last year, I think one of the big surprises last year was I'd previously thought that glasses weren't going to become a major form factor until we got the full kind of holographic displays that we started showing in the prototype for Orion. But now I think it's pretty clear that AI is actually going to drive at least as much of the value as the holographic AR is. So that's a cause to be excited. But look, the Ray-Ban Metas were a hit. We still don't know what the long-term trajectory for this is going to be. And I think we're going to learn a lot this year. So I think that this is a really important year for that.
And I can take the second question on pricing growth.
Why?
So first of all, what I would say is over the long
term. Why would I
term,
cook my brain like that
we
right
think
now?
we have continued opportunity to
I can't
drive
even
revenue
do
growth across both
Patty.
pricing and impression growth. So both sort of supply and demand dimensions. When we look at pricing, our
Mike,
reported growth can be influenced by different factors such as
I'm about to drink some wine.
Because of the auction dynamics, by the mix shift of the different types of services where ads show up. For example, services like video are lower monetization efficiency, relatively speaking, and then of course, broader macro factors. But we generally expect that we are going to be able to deliver ongoing ad performance improvements through a lot of the ongoing work that we're doing across our monetization roadmap, and that will have the sort of effect of benefiting pricing overall.
Mike,
and part of what I think is kind of important to think about here when we think about price growth is the average price per ad as we report it is really blending, it's an output metric. It's blending a lot of things that are happening, including what are advertisers bidding for, what are their bids for those things, what is the average cost of their action. So given that there are so many different objectives that advertisers can optimize for that have different values, it's a very complex metric that tries to distill that into one thing. Overall, we are seeing healthy cost per action trends for advertisers for whatever is the action that they are optimizing for. And we believe we'll continue to get better at driving conversions for advertisers. And when we do, that will have the effect of continuing to lift CPMs over time because we're delivering more conversions per impression served, resulting.
Bro, they're just talking about ads. Okay, I'm gonna switch over to Microsoft. I don't want to hear about ads.
In higher value impressions.
Your next question comes from the line of Justin Post with Bank of America. Please go ahead.
Great, thanks. Maybe one for Mark and one for Susan. Mark, you mentioned political changes in the U.S. and better positioning maybe for U.S. companies abroad, but how do you think about it in the U.S. as far as usage and advertiser adoption? You got rid of fact checking, so do you think the content could change? Could it appeal to more users? Will that impact advertising at all? And then Susan, on Meta AI, I know people are pretty excited about the use case, but also thinking about the revenue case. How do you think about monetizing that? Could it be CP? How are you thinking about that?
Yo, Caesar, or what's it called? We can give Meta glasses, and we'll give it out for free, but we'll run ads on your glasses. But if you pay for it, then you get then you don't get ads on your glasses.
Thank you.
Wait, ChatGPT has ads? No way.
The question was about fact checking and our content policies.
Yo, also I just got access to the $200. I just got $200 ChatGPT Pro, so I'm gonna try out the deep research feature. Let me know if y'all want me to research anything. I'm gonna research probably like some Terraform stuff. But if y'all want me to, I only get 16 queries, cause I split it between like 5 other kids.
I mean, look, I think we're trying to build the service that we think is the best for people. I've believed in free expression for quite a while.
Stop the cap! Yo, is this guy capping? Yo, stop the cap. Stop the cap.
People don't want to see misinformation, but you need to build an effective system that gives people more context. And I think what we found over time is that...
Yo, Farzan in the building. What's good?
The community notes system, I think, is just going to be more...
This is like from 2 weeks ago. Yo, why'd you delete it? It's easy.
Effective than the system that we had before. And I'm not afraid to admit when someone does something that's better than us. I think it's sort of our job to go and just do the best work and implement the best system. So I think that there's been a lot of people who have read this announcement as if we somehow don't care about adding context to things that are on our platform that are misinformation. That's not right. I actually think that the community notes system, like what X has had for a while, is actually just more effective than what we were doing before, and I think our product is going to get better because...
Farzan in the building. I need to view the deleted
add to that
message.
just to say we also haven't seen any noticeable impact from our content policy changes on advertiser spend. So we're continuing to see strong advertiser demand. Again, particularly for AI-powered tools that are helping businesses maximize the value of their ad spend. So our commitment to brand safety is unchanged, and we expect that we will invest in our suite of tools to meet the needs of advertisers. On your second question, in terms of monetizing Meta AI, our initial focus for Meta AI is really about building a great consumer experience, and that's frankly where all of our energies are kind of directed to right now. There will, I think, be pretty clear monetization opportunities here over time, including paid recommendations and including a premium offering, but that's really not where we are focused in terms of the development of Meta AI today.
Your next question comes from the line of Douglas.
Oh man, let's listen to some good old Elon. Oh wait, let me see.
And Muth with J.P. Morgan. Please go ahead.
Ooh, J.P. Morgan, and yeah, Patty, I'm gonna do the research. Oh, research DeepSeek. Okay, maybe. I have 16 queries, so I need to make make it use.
Thanks for taking the questions. One for Mark, one for Susan. Mark, just following up on open source, as DeepSeek and other models potentially leverage Llama or others to train faster and cheaper, how does this impact Meta in your view, and what could it mean for the trajectory of investment?
Bruh, these guys at JP Morgan are asking the good questions. JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs. I don't know who the other guys asking questions, but these are the good questions we want to hear.
Required over a multi-year period. And then Susan, just as we think about the 60 to 65 billion in CapEx this year, does the composition change much from last year when you talked about servers as the largest part, followed by data centers and networking equipment? And how should we think about that mix between like training and inference, just following up on Jan's post this week? Thanks.
I can start on the DeepSeek question. I think that there's a number of novel things that they did that I think we're still digesting, and there are a number of things that they have advances that we will hope to implement in our systems, and that's part of the nature of how this works, whether it's a Chinese competitor or not. I kind of expect that every new company that has an advance, that has a launch, is going to have some new advances that the rest of the field learns from, and that's sort of how the technology industry goes. I don't know. It's probably too early to really have a strong opinion on what this means for the trajectory around infrastructure and CapEx and things like that. There are a bunch of trends that are happening here all at once. There's already sort of a debate around how much of the compute infrastructure that we're using is going to go towards pre-training versus as you get more of these reasoning time models or reasoning models where you get more of the intelligence by putting more of the compute into inference, whether it will mix shift how we use our compute infrastructure towards that. That was already something that I think a lot of the other labs and ourselves were starting to think more about, and already seemed pretty likely before
I'm
us,
down. Send me the Addy on Discord.
That we're using that the largest pieces aren't necessarily going to go towards pre-training, but that doesn't mean that you need less
What
compute.
the hell's a
because
punch party?
One of the new properties that's emerged is the ability to apply more compute at inference time in order to generate a higher level of intelligence and a higher quality, which means that as a company that has a strong business model to support this, I think that's generally an advantage, that we're now going to be able to provide a higher quality of service than others who don't necessarily have the business model to support it on a sustainable basis. The other thing is just that, when we're building things like Meta AI, but
bro, send it on Discord.
Also how we're implementing AI into all the feeds and ad products and things like that, we're just serving billions of people, which is different from, okay, you start to pre-train a model and that model is sort of agnostic to how many people are using it. Like at some level, it's going to be expensive for us to serve all of these people because we are serving a lot of people. And so I'm not sure what the kind of net effect of all of this is. The field continues to move quickly. There's a lot to learn from releases from basically everyone who does something interesting, not just the ones over the last month. We'll continue to kind of incorporate that into what we do, as well as making novel contributions to the field ourselves. And I continue to think that investing very heavily in CapEx and infra is going to be a strategic advantage over time. It's possible that we'll learn otherwise at some point, but I just think it's way too early to call that. And at this point, I would bet that the ability to build out that kind of infrastructure is going to be a major advantage for both the quality of the service and being able to serve the scale that we want to.
I'm happy to add a little more color about our 2025 CapEx plans to your second question. So we certainly expect that 2025 CapEx is going to grow across all three of those components you described. Servers will be the biggest growth.
Who is this, the CFO? Do they have their own data centers? Why do you keep talking about servers?
Driver that remains the largest portion of our
probably they have their own servers.
Overall CapEx budget. We expect both growth in AI capacity as we support our Gen AI efforts and continue to invest meaningfully in core AI. But we are also expecting growth in non-AI capacity as we invest in the core business, including to support a higher base of engagement and to refresh our existing servers. On the data center side, we're anticipating higher data center spend in 2025 to be driven by build-outs of our large training clusters and our higher power density data centers that are entering the core construction phase. We're expecting to use that capacity primarily for core AI and non-AI use cases. On the networking side, we expect networking spend to grow in 25 as we build higher capacity networks to accommodate the growth in non-AI and core AI related traffic, along with our large Gen AI training clusters. We're also investing in fiber to handle future cross-region training traffic.
Shut up. Let's see Tesla. Elon.
up to Neja.
Evil stuff.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Tesla's fourth quarter 2024 Q&A webcast. My name is Travis Axelrod, the head of investor relations here at Tesla, and I am joined today by Elon Musk and Vaibhav Taneja and a number of other executives. Our Q4 results were announced at about 3 p.m. Central Time in the update deck we published at the same link as this webcast. During this call, we will discuss our business outlook and make forward-looking statements. These comments are based on our predictions and expectations as of today.
Tesla's made a lot of millionaires.
Actual events or results could differ materially due to a number of risks and uncertainties, including those mentioned in our most recent filings with the SEC.
What's the point of the earnings calls? They have to do it. It's like to be on a public company, you have to report your earnings, and you need to be able to answer questions. You need to give the public information. Essentially.
During the question and answer portion of today's call, please limit yourself to one question and one follow-up.
These earnings calls affect the stock price like crazy.
Please use the raise hand button to join the question queue.
Yo, Farzad, how was that?
Elon has some opening remarks. Elon?
Thank you. So in summary, in Q4, we set a record and delivered vehicles at an annualized rate of nearly 2 million a year. Congratulations to the Tesla team on excellent work achieving record production and deliveries. Model Y was the best-selling vehicle of any kind for 2024. That's worth noting. Not just the best electric vehicle, the best vehicle of any kind on Earth, number one, was Model Y. We're staying focused on maximizing volumes and obviously doubling down, or I don't know what. Really, I was going to say doubling down on autonomy, but really it's like autonomy is like 10xing.
10xing?
Frankly, doubling is not even enough. We made many critical investments in 2024 in manufacturing AI and robotics that will bear immense fruit in the future. Immense. Like it's, in fact, to such a scale that it is difficult to comprehend.
Guys, making stuff up.
And I've said this before, and I'll stand by it. I see a path. I'm not saying it's an easy path, but I see a path to Tesla being the most valuable company in the world by far. Not even close. Like maybe several times more than. I mean, there is a path where Tesla is worth more than the next top 5 companies combined.
Damn,
there's a path to that. I mean, I think it's like an incredibly. It's like a difficult path, but it is an achievable path. And that is overwhelmingly due to autonomous vehicles and autonomous humanoid robots. So our focus is actually building towards that. And that's what we're laying the ground. We laid the groundwork for that in 2024. We'll continue to lay the groundwork for that in 2025. In fact, more than lay the groundwork, actually, so we'll be building the structure. We're building the manufacturing lines, I'd like setting up for what I think will be an epic 2026 and a ridiculous 27 and 28. Ridiculously good. That is my prediction.
You probably do this in Oven.
And as yet, very few people understand the value of full self-driving and our ability to monetize the fleet. I've some of these things I've said for quite a long time, and I know people have said, well, Elon's the boy who cried wolf like several times, but I'm telling you, there's a damn wolf this time, and you can drive it. In fact, it can drive you. It's a self-driving wolf. For a lot of people, their experience of Tesla autonomy is like if it's even a year old, if it's even 2 years old, it's like meeting someone when they're like a toddler and thinking that they're going to be a toddler forever. But obviously not going to be a toddler forever. They grow up. You
just need to figure out the longest.
Their last experience was like, oh, FSD was a toddler. It's like, well, it's growing up now. Have you seen it? It's like walks and talks.
Bro, what is this guy talking about right now? Is this an earnings report?
That's really what we've got. And it's difficult for people to understand this because human intuition is linear, as opposed to what we're seeing is exponential progress. So That's why my number one recommendation for anyone who doubts is simply try it. Have you tried it? When's the last time you tried it? And the only people who are skeptical are those who have not tried it. So, a passenger car typically has only about 10 hours of utility per week out of 168. A very small percentage. Once that car is autonomous, my rough estimate is that it is in use for at least a third of the hours of the week. So call it 50, maybe 55 hours of the week. And it can be used for both cargo delivery and people delivery. So even, let's say, people are asleep, but you can deliver packages in the middle of the night or resupply restaurants or whatever the case may be, whatever people need at all hours of the day or night. That same asset, the thing that...
that's interesting. How long has he been talking about that idea, though? I feel like that he said that idea like at least 10 years ago.
That is, these things that already exist with no incremental cost change, just a software update, now have 5 times or more the utility than they currently have. I think this will be the largest asset value increase in human history. Maybe there's something bigger, but I just don't.
Harold, no, that's fine. Like, schedule it all the way ahead.
I don't know what it is. And so people who look in the rearview mirror are looking for past precedent, except I don't think there is one. So, but the reality of autonomy is upon us. And I repeat my advice: try driving the car, or let it drive you. So now it works very well in the U.S., but of course it will over time work just as well everywhere else.
Bro, I do not know what he's talking about. I'm gonna switch to Microsoft soon.
So we're working hard to grow our annual volumes. Our constraint this year, our current constraint is battery packs this year, but we're working on addressing that constraint.
Or let it drive.
And I think we will make progress in addressing that constraint. And then things are really going to go ballistic next year, and really ballistic in 27 and 28. So,
aren't they supposed to say why it's going to go ballistic though? Or are they allowed to just say random, like, just believe me, the stock is going to go crazy?
Yeah. So a bit more on full self-driving. Our Q4 vehicle safety report shows continued year-over-year improvement in safety for vehicles. So the safety numbers, if somebody has supervised full self-driving turned on or not, the safety differences are gigantic. And people have seen the immense improvement with version 13, and with incremental versions in version 13, and then version 14 is going to be yet another step beyond that is very significant. We launched the Cortex training cluster at Gigafactory Austin, which was a significant contributor to FSD advancement. And we continue to invest in training infrastructure at our Texas headquarters. So the training needs for Optimus humanoid robot are probably at least ultimately 10x what's needed for the car, at least to get to the full range of useful roles.
Okay, I'm gonna get into. I want to hear Microsoft.
How many different roles are there for a humanoid robot versus a?
I'm bullish on Microsoft.
Humanoid robot has probably 1,000 times more uses and more complex things than in a car. That doesn't mean the training scales by 1,000, but it's probably 10x. Now you can do this progressively, so it doesn't mean like Tesla's going to spend like $500 billion in training compute, because we will obviously train Optimus to do enough tasks to match the output of Optimus robots. But obviously the cost of training is dropping dramatically with time. So but it is like it's one of those things where I think long-term Optimus will be. Optimus has the potential to be north of $10 trillion in revenue. Like it's really bananas.
What's going on?
So then you can obviously afford a lot of training compute in that situation. In fact, even $500 billion of training compute in that situation would be quite a good deal. Yeah.
Yo, where's Microsoft full year report?
Different from the past, that's for sure. We live at this unbelievable inflection point in human history.
Why does it say 2025 Q1 and Q2 already? It didn't even happen.
Yeah. So the proof is in the pudding. So we're going to be launching unsupervised full self-driving as a paid service in Austin in June. So.
Okay, Elon, chill out. Second quarter fiscal year 2025. I don't get. Are they not aligning their stuff the same way as the other companies? Why is it Q4?
I've talked with the team. We feel confident in being able to do an initial launch of unsupervised, no one in the car, full self-driving in Austin in June. We already have Teslas operating autonomously, unsupervised full self-driving at our factory in Fremont, and we'll soon be doing that at our factory in Texas. So thousands of cars every day are driving with no one in them at our Fremont factory in California. They will soon be doing that in Austin and then elsewhere in the world at the rest of our factories, which is pretty cool. And the cars aren't just driving to exactly the same spot, because obviously it all wouldn't collide at the same spot. The cars are actually programmed with what lane they need to park into to be picked up for delivery. So they drive from the factory end of line to their destination parking spot to be picked up for delivery to customers. And they're doing this reliably.
Yo, anybody know how to get earnings reports for Microsoft?
It's pretty cool. Like I said, the Teslas will be in the wild with no one in them in June in Austin.
Nice.
So what I'm saying is, this is not some far off mythical situation. It's literally, 5-6 months away, 5 months away, type of thing. While we're putting our toe in the water gently at first, just to make sure everything's cool, our solution, our solution is a generalized AI solution. It does not require high precision maps of a locality. So we just want to be cautious. It's not that it doesn't work beyond Austin. In fact, it does.
LeetCode Hard is in the building.
Put a toe in the water. Make sure everything is okay.
Every time LeetCode Hard comes in,
put a few more toes in the water.
LeetCode Crack comes
in the water.
I swear he smells you.
With safety of the general public and those in the car as our top priority.
Okay, Elon, chill out. Let's hear Microsoft and OpenAI. Oh, they just dropped this.
And welcome to the Microsoft Fiscal Year 2025 Second Quarter Earnings Conference Call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode.
Should I keep it in a higher speed?
A question and answer session will follow the formal presentation. If anyone should require operator assistance, please press *0 on
performance prepared in accordance with GAAP have on the financial results. Q4, it will be.
Yo, this guy got veneers. For sure, 100%. 100%.
Chief Officer, Amy Hood, Chief Financial Officer, Alice Jalla, Chief Accounting Officer.
Yo, E, what's up?
And Keith Dolliver, Corporate.
All the OGs in the building. LeetCode Hard, Caesar, E.
Secretary and Deputy General Counsel. On the Microsoft Investor Relations website, you can find our earnings press release and financial summary slide deck, which is intended for Form 10-K, Forms 10-Q, and other reports and filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission. We do not undertake any duty to update any forward-looking statement. And with that, I'll turn the call over to Satya.
Thank you, Brett. This quarter, we saw continued strength in Microsoft Cloud, which surpassed $40 billion in revenue for the first time, up 21% year over year. Enterprises are beginning to move from proof of concepts to enterprise-wide deployments to unlock the full ROI of AI. And our AI business has now surpassed an annual revenue run rate of $13 billion, up 175% year over year. Before I get into the details of the quarter, I want to comment on the core thesis behind our approach to how we manage our fleet and how we allocate our capital to compute. AI scaling laws are continuing to compound across both pre-training and inference time compute. We ourselves have been seeing significant efficiency gains in both training and inference for years now. On inference, we have typically seen more than 2x price performance gain for every hardware generation and more than 10x for every model generation due to software optimizations. And as AI becomes more efficient and accessible, we will see.
Every single CEO has talked about AI. Every single report that we watch right now has talked about AI and how they're going to spam it in 2025. This is going to be a crazy year.
See exponentially more demand. Therefore, much as we have done with the commercial cloud, we are focused on continuously scaling our fleet globally and maintaining the right balance across training and inference, as well as geo-distribution. From now on, it's a more continuous cycle governed by both revenue growth and capability growth, thanks to the compounding effects of software-driven AI scaling laws and Moore's Law. With that, I will walk through the progress we are making across every layer of the tech stack. Azure is the infrastructure layer for AI. We continue to expand our data center capacity in line with both near-term and long-term demand signals. We have more than doubled our overall data center capacity in the last 3 years, and we have added more capacity last year than any other year in our history. Our data centers, networks, racks, and silicon are all coming together as a complete system to drive new efficiencies to power both the cloud workloads of today and the next generation AI workloads. We continue to take advantage of Moore's Law and refresh our fleet as evidenced by our support of the latest from AMD, Intel, NVIDIA, as well as our first-party silicon innovation from Maya, Cobalt, Boost, and HSM. When it comes to cloud migrations, we continue to see customers like UBS move workloads to Azure. UBS alone migrated mainframe workloads encompassing nearly 400 billion records and 2 petabytes of data. And we remain the cloud of choice for customers' mission-critical Oracle, SAP, and VMware apps. At the data layer, we're seeing Microsoft Fabric breakout. We now have over 19,000 paid customers, from Hitachi to Johnson Controls to Schaeffler. Fabric is now the fastest growing analytics product in our history. Power BI is also deeply integrated with Fabric with over 30 million monthly active users, up 40% since last year. Beyond Fabric, we are seeing new AI-driven data patterns emerge. If you look underneath ChatGPT or Copilot or enterprise AI apps, you see the growth of raw storage, database services, and app platform services as these workloads scale. The number of Azure OpenAI apps running on Azure databases and Azure App Services more than doubled year over year, driving significant growth in adoption across SQL Hyperscale and Cosmos DB. Now on to AI platform and tools. As we shared last week, we are thrilled OpenAI has made a new large Azure commitment. Through our strategic partnership, we continue to benefit mutually from each other's growth. And with OpenAI's APIs exclusively running on Azure, customers can count on us to get access to the world.
Mike, I worked at a super early stage startup, then I joined one that's way later stage. And definitely you have to do more things at the smaller one. But it's at a smaller scale. And there's less, like if you break something, it's easy to fix. But sometimes when you break something at a big one, like, it's crazy. It causes a big incident. So, I don't know. They're all hard in different ways. I think definitely if you want to see a lot of things, you actually want to set up Redis. You actually want to set up a queue, all that stuff. You wanna set up Terraform. You have to do that at a smaller startup. You probably don't get the chance to do that at a big company for sure. Have I ever caused a production? I've caused production outages in the products I own, but not. I don't work on an infrastructure team. Like those, if you cause a production outage on an infrastructure team, it's a way worse result. Where was I?
World's leading models. And OpenAI has a lot more coming soon, so stay tuned.
Post-mortem, that's crazy. Okay, Microsoft was flat this year? Microsoft was flat? Dude, it went up and then down and then up and then down. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't worked at a big company yet, but probably soon. So I'll let you know the difference. But I think, yeah, I learned a ton working at a very early stage startup. I think if you work all the way like a Series A or a seed company, or you start your own company, you're gonna learn a ton. Like the dudes from Hello Interview who are working at Meta, they said they learned so much more in their first like 6 months working on their startup that the Hello Interview startup they're working on right now. Ted, yeah, I am. How are you liking it? Yo, why is Microsoft flat? I thought it went good this year. Oh, did it? Wait. On resume project, how to come up with ideas. Just try to build things that you like things that you might want to see for yourself. You know what I mean, bro. What the hell? Okay, so Microsoft started at around 400 and it finished at 410. What is it? What about Meta? Okay, it went up. Damn, it went crazy in 2023. What is this? Dude, it got down to like 100 in 2022. 2023, it started at around 100. And it... Oh, damn, they 7x last year. Oh, wow. That's crazy. Okay, they're probably overvalued. What was their price to earnings? What was their price to earnings? Are they over... Y'all think they're overvalued? Is this right now? One-year target, they're gonna stay the same. Let's look at... Tesla's still doing good. Someone told me they tanked. Yo, is this shows the current price to earnings ratio? Probably. They probably wouldn't give us... Okay. Damn, their price to earnings is a 175? That's pretty crazy. How'd Google do? Nice. Google had a good 2023 as well. Opened at 8. They doubled their stock price. Yo, Google had a really good year. Google had a really good year. Damn, 2023 was a good year for big tech. Price to earnings ratio is good. Earnings per share. I literally just look at the PE ratio. What else do you guys look at? Yo, kids at Google are eating. What else y'all want to look at? Lyft? I had some insider information on this. It's still good. Like, it hasn't moved. Oh, it's 2024. I'm so dumb. I realized it's 2025. So let's see. I was looking at the wrong chart. So in the last year, Google. So Google. Yeah, that's good. So in the last year, they 28%. 5 years, 148. Okay, let's go back to Lyft. Earnings per share is 224. Isn't that high? It grew 11%, which is good. What's a healthy PE ratio, like 30 to 50 for a tech company? Richard.
Vehicle companies. So does Uber, David. And some analysts who cover this space, and they cover you, they cover Uber, I have seen them tell their clients they think that Uber is better positioned. And they'll talk about scale. They'll talk about global presence. To that argument, you say what, David?
Yeah, so I say I disagree, and here's why. So particularly on the scale side, we give 800 million rides a year. That's 2 million rides a day. Gosh, that is plenty of scale to generate the type of demand that autonomous vehicles need, who right now are measured in the hundreds. And that's not to disparage at all the work that the autonomous guys have done. It's amazing. But each one of these cars is hundreds of thousands of dollars. They all require custom tooling. They require sensors. So demand generation, we've got, all you need there. And then something we have that nobody else has is fleet management expertise. We've been buying and running, cars on the fleet, about 10 to 15,000 or so, at any given time. And that's everything from maintenance to cleaning to understanding how long repairs should take to figuring out how to keep them back on the road, which is how you make money with autonomous. So I think when we're, as you said, Josh, our idea is to become the best partner. And I think with the demand we have, the fleet utilization, and then of course, 10 years of rideshare experience to actually match supply and demand 24/7, I think we've got everything you need to be a great partner.
And David, how do you think of what autonomy is going to do for you all in terms of, in other words, is it going to be a must-have going forward because of your competitors? Is it going to be something that's going to be a profitability driver? Is it going to be a volume driver? How do you think about it?
Yeah, I love this question. So I do think it's going to be a must-have, to be clear. I think I think someday all cars will be autonomous, right? I mean, it might be 10 years down the road, but I think you buy a car 10 years from now that's not autonomous, it'd be like buying a car without headlights, So I think it's going to be very, very basic. And for that reason, people are going to expect it on a rideshare platform for sure. Now, what we're seeing in the marketplace is kind of interesting. They're fairly small scale tests, right? We're talking about a couple hundred cars here, maybe 500 cars there. But let's look in Phoenix, for example. In Phoenix, our growth is actually growing faster than it is across the rest of the United States, even though it's a very competitive market, including...
Yo, PE ratio is only 17. That's actually kind of crazy. I've never seen one that low for a tech company. Guy's saying he said he's not worried about the Uber price war. I'm interested in the Uber price war and Lyft price war because I literally pop up both of the apps, so I like to see a good competition. I would say Lyft usually gives me better prices on average.
David, so talk to me about what you're seeing in terms of pricing pressure. That seems to be really what this read is focusing on.
Yeah, I think you're right. Let me back up for a sec. Hey, Julie, first of all, say hi to see you. Great to see you. So,
dude, I like this guy. This David Richard, he sounds really chill. Does you think he's a workaholic? And like, how does he do Lyft was way more expensive for me than Uber. Harold, where are you based?
Here's where I want to start. We just posted the best results of our history. And I mean, we had 16 billion in bookings. That's amazing. We did 828 million rides. That's every single one of those a ride to get out and about. I mean, that's amazing. And we're GAAP profitable for the first time ever. And we printed $766 million in cash. So that's amazing. So then you say, well, gosh, what's going on? Why is the stock market doing its little kind of freak out? And I think part of what's going on is we did.
Yo, this guy got veneers for sure. Look at his teeth. So white. Nah.
Going on is we did see some
he definitely went to
changing
Turkey,
in
though.
Pricing right at the end of last quarter. And it's fine with us. We're built for that. Like, we are literally built for that. When prices go down, rides go up, and we have better service than we've ever had. But I think that always gets people a little bit, kind of freaked.
David, it's Josh. It's great to see you. On that
Hey,
issue,
Josh.
though, of pricing softness, and it sounds like it started toward the end of the Q4, what do you see ahead, David? Does that continue?
I mean, look, our pricing strategy is to be competitive and reliable. So competitive means, what it sounds like, and reliable means every single time you open the app, we want to give you a reliable price. That's why we do things like price lock. We've driven down, prime time surge pricing by hundreds of millions of dollars last year, about 40%. So anyway, that's the sort of environment that we always look to create and to participate in. If somebody else in your marketplace starts to play around with pricing, you got to deal with it, and that's fine. Like, that's again what we're sort of built for. I can't really predict exactly the future. I would say there's plenty of demand out there, which is great for the market.
This is a really good company, I think.
To play with prices much, but if it happens, we respond, and as I say, competitively and reliably.
And you've been talking to us about your price lock feature for a bit now. It sounds like that has been working well for you in order, to help pick up commuters and folks at other times of the day. It sounds like there's some reporting that Uber.
Yo, what other companies should I look at? Amazon? Yeah, how's Amazon? We got a lot of friends at Amazon. How's their stock doing? Whoa, 36.6%. That's nice. That is nice. We know a couple people who joined in 2023. Dude, congratulations. Big tech is up. Big tech is up. Big tech is just doing its thing. Damn, it'll take 5 years to double your investment, though. I don't know how I feel about that, but slowly but surely. 41.6 PE ratio. What's the news saying?
On AI, but our next guest says investors can also look.
Bro, I just hope it goes to the moon. We cash out, buy some real estate or something.
Get smaller mid-cap names like Reddit, Pinterest, Snapchat. Here to explain why is Cameron Ansari, Headline Venture Partner. Always good to see you in studio.
Good to see you again. Thank you.
So Cameron, let's talk about these many names. So one on your radar was Reddit.
Yeah.
They reported after the bell today.
Someone told me buy Palantir. Someone was like pitching me on Palantir hard. People were saying buy Palantir. Wow. Dude. Okay. Should we buy it even though it's at a high? Oh wait, look at that PE ratio. What do y'all think? Should we buy? I don't know actually. It's kind of overvalued or what? What are y'all thinking? Whitecap is always doing good. Whitecap, 1 year, 11%, not bad. 5 years, 100%. Yo, you would have made a bag. I bought this thing in like 2018. Actually, nah. It's kind of it's the same from 2018. Oh no, we bought it at like $4. Bought it at like 2020 for sure. Would have made double our money, but I don't even know. Okay, Shopify. Yeah, what's the S&P 500 saying? Bro, you know what I should learn how to do all those crazy bar charts and candle graphs, and then maybe people would think I'm cool. Like, and might get way more viewers. I literally, dude, I don't know anything about stocks. I literally pull up and I just start looking at the graphs. I go like 1 year, 5 year, then I look at the PE ratio. Farzan, for real. Okay, 5 years, it went up 80%. So if I just bought one of these stocks, I would have beat the S&P 500 if I put all my eggs in just Shopify. I don't know, but I like the S&P 5. I love the S&P 500. This is my favorite. Look at that chart. That's a beautiful chart. You think it's ever gonna get down? Bro, if this thing crashes, yo, that's gonna be rough. Okay, what are these guys up to?
It's time for Yahoo Finance's Market Minute. Stocks mixed after Fed Chair Jay Powell says the Fed is in no hurry to cut interest rates. Shares of Shopify wavering after beating estimates for its fourth quarter. Analysts point to somewhat disappointing cash flow guidance as a potential catalyst for the street's muted reaction to Shopify's results. Coca-Cola shares higher. Its profit beat expectations in its latest quarter as consumers continue to spend on sodas, energy drinks, and juices even amid higher prices. And Humana shares are lower after its forecasts were flat for earnings.
Okay, let's do a deep analysis on Coca-Cola. Okay. 17% in the last year. 28 price to earnings. 1 year target estimate 73. Okay, let's see if they were able to beat their earnings. What was their earnings? Oh, okay, I'll check AMD after. So their revenues were $11 billion, and then it cut down to their earnings was only 2, but that's still a really good. So they beat. They've been beating. Oh, did he? Is Airbnb dying too? Yo, what is this? What is this stock? Oh, it's trash. Trash. I like Airbnb, but I still enjoy hotels. You know what I mean? I still love going to a hotel. You know what I mean? But I don't like taxis more than I like Lyfts and Ubers. I love Lyfts and Ubers. Bro, every time I go into the taxi and I see that meter going up, I'm shook. Okay, let's see if they're beating. Wow, they had a good Q3, good Q4. They beat estimates, missed. Okay, what are the analysts saying? I used to believe in these analyst ones a lot. And they just always get it wrong. These target prices are always wrong. Like crazy wrong. It's like who makes these estimates? They're always wrong. Bro, I'm only on season 1. Episode 3. I'm going to watch episode 3 tonight. I'll probably clock out in 20 minutes just to watch that cuz I need to catch up. Maybe I'll binge watch it. Okay, who else we should look at for the last 10 minutes? Let's throw out a bunch of companies. Let's go look at them real quick. What's S tier? Oh, super tier? Yo, Lee Code Hard, are you also watching Severance? Yo, AMD is up. Who's talking? Who's saying it's trash? Who said AMD is trash? Oh shit. It tanked 34%, but it's still up all time. Just kidding. 5 years. 34? Why is it tanking? This guy wants to binge watch it, huh? Yo, these guys have like razor tight earnings. Like, how did they spend 7.2 billion? How are they spending that much money just to make that earnings? They need to improve their efficiency. Okay, those margins are trash. Okay, let's look at Nvidia. They tanked because of DeepSeek. And did they bounce back? Yo, they bounced back already. There was like a little market hiccup. Yo, where did the market hiccup happen? The DeepSeek. Was it this? Oh, okay. Oh, okay, that's pretty low. Price to earnings 54. Nvidia is still good. Okay, let's look. What are their earnings like? Yo, Lee Code Hard, but look at Nvidia. They're keeping like half their. Look at their earnings to revenue. They for 35 billion, they still made 19. I don't know if I can look before. I need to buy Pro. What else? Who else should we look at? What are some other good companies? Okay, let's look at the FAANG. I didn't check the other charts. Dude, Microsoft makes so much money. $69 billion in revenue in a quarter is actually nuts. That's why their valuation is like $1 trillion. That's actually insane. Making $70 billion in one quarter. And beating all the estimates. How much does Meta make? 48 billion? Damn, that's actually a lot for a social media company. That's actually a lot for social. Like, how do they make that much from just their social media? Is it all ads? What does Meta actually do? Yeah, like what the... Yo, Amazon is crazy. Amazon is crazy. Dude, Amazon is crazy. Yo, Lo, what's good? Dude, Amazon is crazy. Yeah, what does Meta do besides ads? Honestly, I don't know. Because they run the websites for free. Yeah, like the IG and Facebook and stuff, they run it, but it's just ads. They make their money off, right? Like all those stuff you said, they give out, I feel like it's just ads. I've never had to pay for IG or Facebook in my life. Their AI is open sourced. Dude. Okay, Amazon is crazy. That's a crazy revenue. Okay, how does ByteDance make their money, bro? How does ByteDance... Oh, they're private. GameStop. Yo, should we all buy this? Let's all just buy it and jump the stock up. No, actually I can't say that on this call. I think I could get in trouble for that. Yo, what else is good? What else should I buy? Oh, Apple. Apple is crazy too. I feel like they're gonna make a ton. Oh, what? Alibaba's partnering with...
in China. Apple Intelligence launching in the U.S.
Dude, Apple Intelligence sucks. I can't lie.
First up, we are going to talk about Alibaba confirming it will be partnering with Apple to bring AI to iPhones in China. Apple Intelligence launching in the U.S. last fall, but is required to partner with a local company if it wants to bring AI services to China. So they had actually previously partnered with Baidu over the past couple of years, and now it looks like they are switching. One thing that's really interesting under the hood here is that they passed on a partnership with DeepSeek because they said the startup team lacked the manpower and experience to support Apple as such a large customer. So I thought that was interesting. I also want to point out a quote from Joe Tsai, Alibaba's chairman, saying they want to use about Apple. Apple wants to use our AI to power their phones. We feel extremely honored to do business with a great company like Apple. Josh.
Alibaba, the hot AI stock
Yeah.
of 2025. Not sure I had that one on my radar. Stock's up. I'm taking a look now. Year to date, up about 40%, and it's been moving quite a bit on little different.
Year to date.
Yeah, year to date. So in basically a month.
Yeah.
Yo, Netflix needs to do a split. like, bro. $1,000 for stock, they need to do a split. ASAP. Dude, they went crazy. But I think they just been slow and steady. Oh, they doubled last year. That's pretty insane. So they doubled last year. So Netflix has just been climbing. I wonder what's driving their growth. What's driving Netflix growth? Wait. Let me just log in. Dude, that'd be sick. I like how they're doing sports.
Hey, how's it going? I'm looking forward to working together. Let's figure out where to...
What's driving Netflix's growth?
Netflix's growth is driven by several factors. First, they invest heavily in original content, which attracts new subscribers and keeps existing ones engaged. Second, they have a strong global presence, offering content in multiple languages and regions. Third, their data-driven approach helps them understand viewer preferences and tailor recommendations. Finally, their flexible pricing and subscription models make them accessible to a wide range of customers.
How up to date are you with the Netflix price?
Currently, Netflix offers 3 plans in the US. The standard with ads plan is $8 per month.
I'm talking about their stock price. How up to date are you with stock prices?
For the latest stock prices, I can look up the current data. Would you like me to check Netflix's stock price right now?
Oh yeah. Look up Netflix stock price and tell me how much they've grown in the last year.
Netflix's stock price is currently $1,043.69, which is about a 70% increase over the past year. This growth has been driven by strong subscriber growth and increased revenue.
Strong subscriber. How many subscribers did they increase by?
In the past year, Netflix added nearly 19 million subscribers, bringing their global total to about 301.6 million. This growth was driven by popular new series and live sports events.
316 million? They're almost they're going to get a billion soon. Who are they competing with, and how are they competing for the shares? Like, have they been taking shares away from other people?
Netflix competes with major streaming services like Disney Plus, Amazon Prime Video, Hulu, and HBO Max. They compete by investing in exclusive content, offering a wide variety of shows and movies, and expanding their global reach. Netflix has also been able to take market share by producing high-quality original content and introducing ad-supported plans to attract more price-sensitive customers.
Are you sure there's 300 million?
You're right. Let me check that again.
Oh, okay, he's wrong. He's right.
Yes, Netflix currently has over 301 million subscribers worldwide, reflecting a significant increase from the 282.7 million subscribers they had in January 2024.
Okay.
This growth...
Dude, that's crazy. Should I buy the stock?
I can't give financial advice, but it's always a good idea to do your own research.
Bro, then I'm going to go to DeepSeek or XAI if you don't want to give me buy or sell advice.
It's always wise to gather multiple perspectives before making investment decisions.
Bruh.
Reputable sources can help you make informed choices. Just be sure to weigh all the information carefully.
Okay, don't give me advice, but just say if you would buy it or not.
I can't make personal investment decisions, but I recommend you consider your financial goals and consult a financial advisor if you need help.
Dude, my financial advisor doesn't know as much as you. You were trained on the whole internet.
I appreciate the compliment. While I have access to a lot of information, financial advisors can provide personalized advice based on your unique situation. It's always good to get a second opinion.
I don't have a second opinion.
In that case, it might be helpful to read up on recent market trends and consider your long-term goals.
Bro, you're actually so useless right now. Okay. I'm here to help. I need to talk to... Once XAI has a voice, once Grok has a voice, it's going to be nice. Okay. Give me an update on all the FAANG, and please search, but give me an update on all the FAANG earnings and let me know who's underperformed, not overperformed and stuff.
The FAANG companies have not yet released their earnings reports for the fourth quarter of 2024. Alphabet is expected to report on February 4th. Amazon...
It's February 13th now.
As of February 2025, Alphabet reported its earnings on February 4th, Amazon on February 6th, and Nvidia is expected to report on February 26th. Netflix and Meta are scheduled to release their earnings in April.
Okay, we'll have to wait. This thing is tripping because... Hold up. This thing is tripping because it gave us... It was able to capture Netflix's data, but then I'm asking for just a summary on the earnings report and it couldn't do it. How's Bitcoin doing?
As of today, Bitcoin's price is around $96,763.
Any market trends? Wow, that's high.
Recent trends show that Bitcoin is trading around $96,763, with potential legislation in 18 U.S. states that could bring significant inflows into Bitcoin. Coinbase also reported a 138% rise in revenue, indicating strong market activity.
Give me a list of 10 stocks that I should look at. Bro, Okay, I'm gonna get my brother to build an AI that's gonna give me proper advice because this thing is. I'm gonna get my brother to give me some proper advice.
If you have specific criteria or industries you're interested in, I can help you find information on stocks that might match your interests. Just let me know what you're looking for.
I don't know what you're talking about, bro. My brother had a good video. Get on Rocket Lab. What's Rocket Lab? Yo, Paul, what are you buying these days? Are you buying stocks? Paul GPT. What's it? What's Avgo? What's Avgo? Oh, Broadcom? This? What's Thai? Semiconductors? Yo, Broadcom is what's Broadcom do? Hey, can you what's Broadcom's market price right now?
As of February 13th, 2025, Broadcom stock price closed at $235.80, down 0.23% from the previous day.
Nice. Okay. What does Broadcom do?
Broadcom is a global technology company that designs, develops, and supplies a broad range of semiconductor and infrastructure software solutions. Their products are used in data centers, networking, broadband, wireless communications, and industrial markets. They focus on areas like data storage, networking, software, and wireless solutions for both enterprise and consumer applications.
Hey everyone, John here. In today's
Yo, so my brother dropped a video on scripting versus programming. He started getting flamed. What the hell is he even? Yo, follow my brother. But he dropped a video on scripting versus programming. He started getting flamed. So I'm gonna watch it real quick. What's he even talking about? What the hell is scripting versus programming? Apparently everyone's saying that whatever GPT told him was like fake news.
video, I'm going to go over the difference between scripting and programming. For the last couple of months, I've been going on a journey and I've noticed that when I try to become a programmer.
So my brother is actually learning programming from scratch, which is pretty crazy. Well, yeah, he's a finance guy. He works in real estate. So he manages a big real estate fund. But he was using Excel to handle all his stuff, and he's just like, Excel and SQL is not doing the job anymore. So he started learning Python. He got addicted to programming. So he's been spamming it. He's been able to like do medium level leak codes and stuff. Yo, yeah, he's crazy.
I get overwhelmed and demotivated. But yeah, there's actually a difference between scripting and programming. And in my opinion, not everybody who knows how to, like, who is learning how to code has to become a programmer, right? Like imagine you're a domain expert in finance, for example. Do you need to learn how to build a web app? Do you need to learn how to build a web app? You really don't, right? All you need to know is how to automate some parts of your job with code, and the way you do that is through scripting, right? Okay. But yeah, I think that's kind of
valid so far, valid take in my opinion.
Of what I realized is pretty much if you're learning how to code, if you start taking like programming courses, programming what do you call it? Just programming courses in general, or just taking a path towards programming, you might get demotivated because programming is actually really hard and it's a long journey. And my recommendation is to focus on scripting, writing small scripts, writing small functions to automate workflows in your personal life as well as at work. And that's pretty much what's gonna eventually build up your skill set to the point where programming becomes just a natural progression versus really learning how to program from the jump. Maybe I'm kind of projecting because
I think that makes sense. Like, why do you need to build a big application that links to multiple files? Like, just start with very simple things that automate things that you need done. Like, my first programs were just one file. For the first year, probably my first semester, I was just doing things in one file. And later, you start to build fully bigger apps. But, like, I think what he's saying is valid so far. I have no idea why he's getting roasted on his channel.
Like, my use case is very specific to just like automation. But I think automating the boring stuff, which is like a book, is really what you should be doing as a beginner. But yeah, let's go over what the difference between scripting and programming is. Both scripting and programming involve writing.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yo, people were saying that GPT is completely wrong on this, so we'll see.
Code, but they have different purposes, execution methods, and typical use cases. So here's a breakdown. Definition. Scripting refers to writing small programs that automate tasks, typically executed without compilation. Like, I don't know if you don't need to know what the hell that is.
Yo, Martezi was good.
Is right? Don't even think about that. Right? Like, if you're watching my channel.
Yo, Martezi, how's your portfolio? Are the companies you're investing in doing good? Up. Let's go. We're like analyzing a bunch of different FAANG companies and stuff. Yo, Synopsys is going crazy. Who's Taiwan Semiconductors. Dude, they tanked. One year 58, that's good. Yeah, Taiwan. Martizzi doesn't even care about his stocks no more. He's just up. So my brother's is talking about the difference between scripting versus programming. From what I see, he's pretty right so far. I don't know why the comments are roasting him, but I think it makes sense to just make small scripts first. Why do you need to do a full program, you know what I mean?
You're either a full-on software dev or you're a full-on finance person. Like, that's what I've noticed in my chat. That's really what I've noticed in my chat. Programming involves writing full-fledged software applications that often require compilation before execution. So what is interpreted? So interpreted just runs line by line, and then compiled basically transforms the code and turns it into machine code for execution.
Okay,
right?
Okay. Yeah, GPT's tweaking on this. It's saying the difference between scripting and programming. Scripting is interpreted while programming is compiled. I think you can be a programmer and the language isn't compiled. I don't think Python's compiled. JavaScript is not compiled. Okay, I think GPT is hallucinating here. What do y'all think?
I kind of get it, but I don't know if you're watching this type of video, you probably won't get it, right? Because this is more catered towards like finance people rather than software devs. What's the use case of scripting? Task automation, system administration.
You can compile Python?
Data processing, web scraping.
Okay, use case. Scripting is for task automation. Scripting is Python. Dude, you can build full programs with Python and JavaScript. What is it compiled into? Oh, is it compiled into C?
And automation as a whole, right? Programming is for software development, web apps, game development, and large-scale applications, right? So think about your personal day-to-day. Are you developing a web app? Are you developing a game? Are you working on a large scale application? Really, like 90% of the people, I don't know what percentage of the population is software devs, but it's a small percentage. You do not need to know how to program. But I think that if you know how to script, it will be a huge benefit to you, right? Like, I mean, like VBA and all those languages exist, but really like a language like Python.
Yeah, TS is compiled. Yeah, you're right. But it compiles into... I mean, TypeScript is not really a language. You know what I mean?
Which is a scripting language.
Like, TypeScript is just JavaScript. TypeScript, you just... Yeah, exactly.
Do VBA better than VBA. If that makes any sense.
Yeah. Like, when you compile TypeScript, you just turn it into JavaScript.
Right? So, like, let's say you're an accountant. Maybe you manually fill out Excel spreadsheets, learn Python and automate that task, and then pretend that you're working. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be what your focus
as a tweaker
is on. Like, I think everybody needs to know how to write scripts. System administration. So, like, the funniest thing I ever experienced was like this one task to move around folders and organize like a folder. And I'm not saying we, but like basically one of the members of this organization literally went and dragged folders between folders. I'm like, dude, what the heck oh man, why? Why not just write a Python script to organize the folders, right?
Isn't compiling just transpiling into binary? I don't even know. Let's look up the difference. I don't know. I think they're two different. They're two different things. Hey GPT, what's the difference between transpiling and compiling?
Transpiling and compiling both involve converting code from one form to another, but they have different purposes. Compiling. This converts high-level source code, like C++ or Java, into machine code or bytecode that a computer can execute directly. The goal is to produce an executable program. Transpiling converts code from one high-level language to another high-level language. The goal is to make code compatible with different environments. For example, a transpiler might convert modern JavaScript ES6 into an older version ES5 for compatibility with older browsers. In short, compiling creates executable code, while transpiling changes code between different languages or versions.
Yo, thank you. Yeah, I should have just asked Mortizy in the chat. Yo, what is everyone coding in the chat?
Everybody should know how to script to at least manipulate folders, right? If you're within an organization that's kind of like large, you'll know that unless the file system is like the filing.
What's Tem? Tempest AI. Why are they so up? %? Why are they so up? What do they do? Bro, they're down. They're at like negative. How did they lose negative $500 million in a year? And they're still up. What does this company do? Oh, Nancy. This guy. Yo, Paul's a demon, bro. Oh, that's so funny. Okay, let me ask ChatGPT. Are you familiar with Tempest AI?
Tempest AI is a health tech company focused on precision medicine. They recently launched an AI-enabled health app called Olivia, which centralizes health data and provides actionable insights. They also partnered with the Institute for Follicular Lymphoma Innovation to develop targeted therapies. Their stock has been performing well recently.
Why is it going up lately? Is it because of insider information?
Tempest AI stock has surged recently due to the launch of their AI health app Olivia and the acquisition of Ambry Genetics, which expanded their services. These moves have boosted investor confidence and contributed to the stock's strong performance.
Are you sure it's not a Nancy Pelosi pump and dump?
There's no evidence suggesting insider trading or manipulation. The stock's performance is primarily due to their strategic
method is documented from the start. You're gonna have a messy filing system, honestly, and you should probably know how to write scripts to organize those files. Data processing, web scraping, and automation. Like, how many times at work do you just copy and paste from one Excel?
Yo, this is like what everyone needs to do if they're not working a tech job. I still think it's important to learn how to code, because this guy right here is learning how to code to automate his job and make himself more efficient. You know what I mean? Like, why? Imagine everyone in your accounting department knows how to code and can automate portions of their job.
Spreadsheet to another Excel spreadsheet. I just want to know. How many times do you, like, let's say you're not, I'm not saying SQL is like a scripting language,
Paul, but like literally so many, like all the VCs are pretty much just going crazy on Excel. I'm pretty sure VCs just spam Excel sheets. They build all their models in Excel.
it's more, I don't know what SQL is. It's not even
Not just VCs, but real estate. Anybody in investments, they're using Excel like crazy, and they're like anybody in the business side, even private equity, they're spamming Excel.
even like a programming language. It's just like
VCs can just ask. Yeah, I need to get a VC on this. I'm gonna get us some VCs on this thing, on this call. I know a couple people in VC.
you're telling a computer to pull select these columns from this table where this field is equal to this, right? Or a column is equal to this. It's not really programming, but people who are really weak at SQL, I've noticed what they do is they pull like SQL queries and then index match the tables in Excel. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like literally kids are doing that. Like my brother, he's good at SQL, and he's like the SQL expert at his company. And he would say they would take SQL, instead of running a SQL query, they'll download the database and then import it into Excel and then like do joins on Excel instead of writing a simple left join on SQL or something like that. That's crazy.
People who are really weak at SQL, I've noticed what they do is they pull like SQL queries and then index match the tables in Excel. It's like, what are you doing? Like, learn how to do a left join or right. Like, learn how to do a join. You know what I'm saying? And beyond that, maybe you're not that good at SQL. You could probably easily write a Python script that does the index matching, that combines tables for you. Really, like Pandas is really just the best tool for that. And then that way, every time, like you could probably use like a SQL alchemy pull.
How hard is it to use SQL though? Is it actually that hard to learn? I'm actually curious. What do y'all think? Yeah, like I thought that was an easy course. The hard part of my database course, literally the hard part of my database course was like denormalizing data and stuff like that. But just doing a little, literally SQL just made so much sense. Select star where this to filter out the rows, right? Left join on another table.
from the SQL
Yeah,
database.
exactly. The hard part is relational algebra, and alpha code. Yeah, that's hard when you're looking at the query planner to see where to optimize it. But even the query planner, you could just see exactly where you just look for where it's doing the full table scans, and then put indexes on those and stuff.
Bring it into Python, use pandas to combine the tables, right? And then if you want,
I'm not saying that's easy, but I mean, okay, take the query plan and then you can feed that into GPT these days. But I don't know, what do you usually do with a query plan? Usually, I'm just looking for where the full table scans are, and then trying to look for like how to index it, so like it's not scanning the whole table. And usually, that's what I do with my query plans.
if you want to do that moving forward, it's like a click of a button. You just like run execute code, right? Instead of like opening a Excel spreadsheet, copy and pasting. Like, oh man, everybody needs to learn how to script, and everybody needs to learn scripting. It's so annoying, right?
Yeah, I see. Alpha code, that makes sense. But then, if you have to make such a big query, then I'd be asking the question, why is your query so complicated? Because sometimes when you have to build such a query, such a complicated query, I'll be questioning why I modeled the data in that way. You know what I mean? Is there a better way that we could have modeled that data? It's like anything related to coding. When you have to do something so complicated, you start to think, why is it so complicated? Did I overcomplicate it? Because honestly, a lot of things could be boiled down into simple things. So usually if I'm working on even when I'm doing React stuff, if I'm trying to do something that's way too crazy, I can't just, I see what you mean. But like, yeah, I think with good data modeling, you don't have to do it. But yeah, you're right.
Complexity, it's usually really simple. You'll find that things that you could do in Excel that takes literally hours could be done with like 10 lines of Python.
No way they're coding Excel for hours. Yo, who used Excel? I barely know how to use Excel. The only Excel, one of my favorite leak code questions is this question. Yo, who solved this one? This is the only Excel I know how to do. Design Excel sum. I solved this question back in May. It's a really good question. Yo, everyone try out this question. This is a really good question.
It's unreal. You don't need to program. You need to know how to write enough code to script. Like I'm just trying to hammer this home for all the folks at home. If you're like iffy about do you need to know how to code, I'm thinking honestly it's table stakes.
I 100% agree. It's table stakes. If this guy right here is learning how to code, everyone should learn how to code. And every engineer should be good at their job. Honestly, some engineers don't know how to code.
It's table stakes. It's like something... It's honestly table stakes. What are some scripting languages? So Python, JavaScript, Bash, Perl, and then some programming languages are C, C++, Java, Rust, and Go. Honestly, like stick with Python. You'll be good for like 99% of like a non-coding job. Honestly. And then once you learn Python, I've noticed that I can easily generate code with ChatGPT and then refactor the code to make it work for me super easily after like 2 to 3 months of practice, right? And then I can kind of read JavaScript. I don't know, like I can kind of read HTML and CSS from just like web scraping. honestly, like over time, I'm just like, okay, where am I pulling the data? Like I can kind of read HTML, CSS. like over time without really any practice, just by practicing web scraping, right? Okay, in your day-to-day job, you do not need to care about performance, right? Like you're not a quant, honestly. And really, like most quant firms aren't generating the profits that you think. That's just my opinion. You don't need to care about performance as much as you think. Flexibility, higher, as scripts can be modified and run immediately, and then programming more rigid but powerful for large scale software. Honestly, like think about what programming is. You don't need to become a programmer, right? Like if unless you're like a software dev, you do not need to be a programmer. But I think 90% of people will benefit if they know how to script. And specifically with Python, I guess this is like a Python sales course or like a Python sales. But yeah, so Python can be used for both scripting and programming. So automating a repetitive task like renaming files, web scraping, probably like manipulating Excel spreadsheets. I've noticed that that's a pretty sick use case. Programming, building a full-fledged AI system or web app. So you could, there's like libraries like LangChain, LangGraph. There's like frameworks like Django, Flask that you could kind of like literally build a web app.
Yeah, this guy's a finance kid. Most of the people who follow him are finance. He just told me to watch it because he's getting flamed. So I'm just trying to literally see what he's talking about. This is my brother.
But honestly, you could literally avoid. Don't even get into that. I swear, like I think what I'm thinking is I'm probably gonna write a bunch of scripts to launch my AI company, and then once I get funding, I'm just gonna hire like a new grad to build me a web app.
I'm gonna be reading this book. Y'all see this? Yo, this book is gonna be sick. This is what I'm gonna be reading this for the next couple months. This is gonna be sick. Bro. This is like by this Alex Zhu guy. This guy's a legend. Oh no, it's not even by Alex Zhu. Yo, I'm gonna read this book and tell y'all like how it is. This is sick. This is sick. Generative AI system design. If y'all haven't read this yet, you should read chapter 5 and 6, they say. Let me see. What's chapter 5 and 6 about? Oh, okay. You should definitely read chapter 5 and 6. Who? Yeah, I got you the book, bro. It's on Dropbox. What's tomorrow? Okay, I definitely read replication. This is a really good. This one is a really good. This one was a really good chapter actually. I actually really like this one. Because it talks about leader replication. Or just replication in general. And then after this chapter, you really get to understand what's it called? Why eventual consistency exists. And why it can't just be strongly consistent. Yo, I'm gonna read this on the stream at some point. I'm gonna buy all these books online so I could just read them on the stream. I don't even know if that's illegal. But I bought this book and I just uploaded it. You should don't definitely I would say if you have an interview coming up in the next month, don't read this book. But if you have an interview in a year, read this book for like this book will take you 3 to 4 months to read. It's honestly really boring. I mean not really boring, it's actually pretty exciting, but it's just very hard to read. So look at chapter 5, replication. So it talks about leaders and followers. It talks about problems with replication lag. Then it talks about multi-leader replication. Then it talks about leaderless replication. That's like literally all you need to know. In your distributed systems class, this is all you'll cover all of this. Monotonic reads, consistent reads. Okay, chapter 5 is actually legendary. And then it talks about what's partitioning here. Partitioning. Oh, okay. It's talking about when you're partitioning your data if you're using like I mean, you can partition in both SQL and NoSQL. Dude, this book is actually legendary. And then it talks about transactions. And then it talks about multi-phase transactions too. Or like transactions across different systems. Where is that? Yeah, with two-phase locking. It talks about what we really mean by ACID. Dude, this thing's crazy. Consistency, consensus. Okay, I'm gonna read this book again. This is actually one of my favorite books. Reliability and scalability. Data models. Dude, this thing is crazy. I'm gonna have to read this again. What else? What else? What else is good? This is classic book right here too. If you're just interviewing for system design. What else? Yo, I got a bunch of books out here. This is good book too. This book goes into all the theory you need about ML. This is a really good book. This book goes deep. And it's not that long to read. What else? What else do I got? Yo, this book's overrated. This book is overrated. This book is overrated. Book is overrated. I hated this book. It's not bad, but dude, okay, it's the rules in this book are just like, okay, make sure your functions aren't longer than 10 lines. And it takes like a big code base and shows you how to refactor it so that every function is at most 10 lines. And it doesn't seem that practical. And imagine reading a book and you're watching a book refactor. Like the last like 2-3 chapters is just a dude refactoring it. I don't know. I think it may like what he says is good, but it's not like in practice. I don't know if, like how doable it is. What else? What else I got? So funny. Honestly, this book is better than Clean Code. Have y'all heard of this book before? This is a good book. I like it because it's more about how to actually be pragmatic. Like it has advice that's more realistic. And I think that's what I don't like about the Clean Code book, but this book hits all that. Look this one up, Pragmatic Programmer. It's good. This is really popular book too. Yeah, read that book. It's good. If you want to get into functional programming, this is a good book. This talks about all the concepts related to functional programming. This is a good book. I haven't read a technical book in like 2 years though, but when I first started, I was spamming these. Yeah, this is a good book. What else? What else? What else? I've been reading this a bit so I can get like Paul and Alpha at these math questions, bro. I suck at the math questions. The math related questions. So I'm trying to brush up on my math. Bro, I haven't read a technical book in like a year though. A year and a half. But I'm going to start reading them again soon. We could start a book club or something. But yo. Paul, man, you got to teach us on the chat. You can't be like, oh, you can't be gatekeeping. You can't be gatekeeping. Yeah. Yo, Alpha, yo, can you drop a video? Yeah, Paul did competitions and stuff, you're right. But yo, Paul, Alpha, can you drop a video on like the most common math concepts for lead code? I like the videos you've been doing recently. I wanna do some of these front end questions that you've been doing. Yeah, I like these. I like these. These are sick.
Hello and welcome to another video.
These are sick. You have to pay? You have to pay? Yeah, I like this. I like this. I like this. Why are you trying to get better at front end? For your job? Yeah. I like front end too, honestly. I like front end because like if I want to start a company, I need to know how to build a nice front end. Well, I feel like the most entrepreneurial thing is being a good full stack engineer. Cuz if you whatever you want to build, you can build it. If you need to build a front end, you can build it. If you need to build a back end, you can do it. Like if you dabble with infrastructure, you can do it. Like that's why I'm really like I think for entrepreneurship, being a generalist is the best. That's why I'm just trying to focus a bit more on that, or focus on the product side. Who's guy saying he's gonna sleep? Just back end is needed. I don't want to hire people from India or Brazil just to do my front end, bro. I'd rather do it myself. And I like it. Bruh. Yeah. Christian, you're right. You're right. I've seen back-end devs do front-end. I've seen really talented back-end devs do front-end. And it is not good. Bro, when you look at full-scale front-end applications, they are huge. They're just as big as the front. They're just as big or even bigger than the back-end. Because with the back-end, you could at least break it out into services and stuff. But with the front end, they get really freaking big, bro. Yo, Mertizio's good. Yeah, like, front end, it sounds easy, but try to build a website like YouTube. Try to build a website like, like, it gets really complicated, bro. And I don't know, when have you ever seen a front end do a back end? I don't know, I think from what I think of front end, it depends. If the person only knows front end, they probably can't do back end. But I've seen front ends do back end. But I could see front ends doing back end, but mostly I see back end engineers be really allergic to the front end. Who's a full stack noob? We're all noobs. Yo, John, CFA in the building. Yo, John, we were watching your video. I was like 13 minutes in. We were watching your thing on scripting versus
Hey
programming.
everyone, XMath. Once you learn Python, unless you're like a software.
Yo, John, what are you thinking? We were looking into different stocks. What stocks are you looking into? Honestly, coding is coding. If you do front end, you do back end, you do infrastructure, at the end of the day, you're just coding. Like, I don't even know. Dude, how are you busy every day? What are you doing? I don't know. I think DevOps is probably slightly different. Not like this guy's looking at Canadian stocks, huh? Yeah, honestly, coding is coding, man. Like, you can have fun doing all this stuff. Roger. Roger. Okay, what's Roger saying? Alright, Caesar, you got this, bro. Grind out that project. Yo, double that TC. Caesar, you got this. What happened, John? Alright, Roger looks mid. Okay, what's the other one you're looking into? The hell, Stella Jones, bro? Why are we looking at the TSX, dude? The TSX sucks. Let's look at the TSX index. Yeah, I watched that. Harold. Did he get in trouble or what? Oh, no way, he got the offer. Would you say that's a rule, you can't have someone be your manager and friend? I don't know. Yeah, it's probably conflict of interest. Definitely a conflict of interest. Alright. Yo fam, I'm gonna go watch some Severance, but tomorrow we're gonna do LeetCode questions from all the way from easy to cracked. And if I can't do them, I'm gonna get people in the chat to do them. But I'll see y'all in the next stream. Good night. Yo, peace out. Peace, peace, peace. I already watched Breaking Bad, all the seasons. Yo, Mertezi, thank you. Double that comp. Yo, Paul is crazy. Alright, see ya.